Hello. Okay, maybe I better turn some light on. It just started to get dark. But I am going to do a little home rig workout. I have the Xpole rig. It's short. I'll turn the camera around in just a second so you can see. Well, there's my Sonic Youth poster. That's also important. But so that you can see my home rig setup. It's, I don't know, maybe 8 feet at the most, but there's a lot you can do with it right now. So here we go. Right now I have it rigged with silks. They're just looped around the top like that. Sometimes I will attach a lira to it. I'll back up a little bit so you can see. There's kind of what it looks like. There's a mat, also a cat. Important part of the home rig setup is having a cat. For sure. She comes and goes, though, as cats will do. So I'm going to do this on silks today. Hopefully I can set this up so that you can see what I'm doing for the most part. For the majority of it, I don't even leave the ground. So low is just fine. And yeah, here we go. So, one other thing. I made a list of I have 14 moves I'm going to try to do, starting with shrugs. Like the first, they all could be kind of warm up or conditioning moves, really, but it's designed to kind of ease you into it and start with more warm up types of moves, shrugs and arm circles, and some stuff in the knot, some aerial yoga a little bit, and then moving into stuff that's a little more challenging, a little more intense. Okay, so start with shrugs. These are probably familiar to anyone who's taken aerial classes. So these are medium stretch silks. They're very stretchy. They're not ideal for this situation, and they're way too long, but they are the shortest silks that I had. So bear with me on the stretch and having to move the tails out of the way a little bit. So I'm going to wrap just like I always do for shrugs. Set myself up, make sure that I'm not popping my ribs, and then I'm just feeling that engagement of the shoulder blades, releasing to neutral, not to here. Keeping my ribs in. I'm going to do about 10 of these. You can do them with me. Say 5 more. 5, 4, 3. Keep those ribs in. 2, and 1. And coming up. And then, so arm circles. NECA calls this stretch getting arrested. I just like to call it arm circles. Most of you are familiar with this. We do it all the time. So finding a forward fold, arms are extended, and you just take a couple nice big circles, stopping if there's a place that feels particularly good to stretch, and just work on your range of motion in your shoulders. I love these. We can do a couple more of these. So working that internal rotation right there is the moment of internal rotation. That's important because we're going to do some skin the cats later. Let's do one more of these all the way around. And coming back. Coming to stand. The next one I've got is pulling taffy. I am using wrist wraps for these because these silks are pretty slick. I've never actually done this one on my small rig. It takes a little bit of space, so hopefully you have space where you kind of circle. Yeah, it works. You kind of your feet are your anchor point, and you kind of let yourself. The silks are kind of in my face here, but it still is working. And it's another kind of range of motion, warm up. Make sure you go both directions. Keeping your shoulders engaged and letting things kind of open up there as you go around. It also warms up your grip. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to tie my knot a little bit higher because, again, these are stretchy silks. and I don't want to be all the way on the floor here. So you're not, who might be a little lower if you're using lower stretch silks. I'm going to get in here and work on some core work. And I cannot control which direction I'm facing. These are not on a spinner, because I wanted to just maximize every inch of height that I could. So I'm using my feet on the poles here to stabilize myself, but that's okay. I mean, these poles are in the way, but sometimes they're useful too. So I'm right here, I've got the knot on my sacrum. I'm gonna find this, I call this a dish shape, and I'm spinning again. My legs are in a diamond shape, my chest is lifted. I like to imagine that I'm holding like a bowl of ice cream or something in my belly and trying not to spill it, or a glass of wine. So you're really staying, you don't want to let the belly poof up. Staying hollow until those abs start to burn, and then you can relax. Whew, we're going to do that one more time. And I'm going to sit back up. Hello, Sophie. She just kind of supervises. She doesn't listen to me, but she's a cat. So, okay. Now we're going to come back up. I'm back up. I don't know if you can see because I'm facing backwards. See if you can do this with no hands. You might have to flap your hands around a little bit. Find that balance. Let those abs burn. Hold it for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Oh my goodness. I felt that one burning. So now we get to work on something that feels a little bit nicer. Again, this is going to be difficult if you're on a low rig like me because I've got these poles in the way. So you can do it with a bent knee and just kind of hanging out in this inversion and moving through this hip. Normally I would keep a straight leg and find that hip rotation. You can kind of find it if you put my legs in between the poles here. From gazelle to a straddle, half straddle position, and then again rotating that hip, finding gazelle, and doing that a few times on each hip. I'm going to do it one more on this side, and then I'm going to switch. And there we go. And if you need to come up, if this is too long for you to be inverted in one go, then please do what you need to do. With a bent leg, a little bit of rotation. Then I'm going to see if I can keep my leg in the right spot here and find this gazelle and half straddle. Really trying not to swing the leg, trying to find it from inside the hip. Gazelle and half straddle. A couple more times. Gazelle, half straddle, one more time. Really finding that rotation of the femur. And rotate it back. And there we go, I'm upside down. I'm going to come up. One more little bit of work in the knot here. I'm going to find a front balance. So I am actually going to do a very awkward pullover to get into this just because it's at kind of a strange height. If you don't have stretchy silks, you probably can just pop yourself into your front balance. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go this way. Okay. So there I am in a front balance setup. Just like I would do on a trapeze, I've got thumbs down to the inside, pinkies up to the outside. I'm going to come up. I'm using my glutes, so this is to get our glutes activated, lifting my chest. Hair is all over, and trying to balance here. Try not to let your legs get too wide. And you can hold it, feeling the glutes, and fold it back down. We're going to do that a couple more times. So reaching energy, and if you want a challenge, you can try to come into it. Woo, come on up. With no hands. We do those on trapeze, affectionately known as flowers, like you're blooming like a flower. So there you go. Holding it. Legs are lifted, chest is lifted, glutes are working. Another breath here. And fold it back down. We're going to do that one more time. Take a breath here. And then again, if you want the challenge, you can try to come into it with no hands. Feel free to do more of these if you want to. Shoulders are drawing onto your back. Good. Couple breaths here. You can take your arms wherever you want. I don't recommend them taking them straight out overhead, but sideways or back. Squeezing and fold it down. And then if you want, you can take a down dog. So I'll go this way. Take a down dog as a stretch. Reaching your hands out. My feet are not touching the ground at all. That's okay. It's really just a down dog from my hips to my fingertips, and my legs are actively reaching, but I'm just feeling this nice elongation of the spine. You can also do this bending your legs and hooking your feet on the silks and really letting your whole torso extend. You can take a little sway side to side if you like that too. And then we're going to come out of that. Coming up. And so the next thing, so we've already done 7 things. Feel free to repeat parts of this. This is, again, just to give you some ideas. I'm going to make a little bit lower knot and do some lunges in the knot. So this is another aerial yoga move. There's a lot of aerial yoga moves. Maybe at some point I'll do another video like this and include a few different ones. I used to teach aerial yoga. I kind of miss it, but anyways, there's still parts of it that come into my regular aerial training all the time. I've got one leg, so you want the knot to be about hip height so that your thigh is parallel to the floor. And I'm going to hop this leg back a little bit. And again, my stretchy silks, I'm sinking down into it quite a bit. Try to keep your hips square. I'm on the ball of my back foot. If you can see, I'm pulling up and through the front of my body, pressing my hips forward, trying to find a balance there. And then you can add the arms. You can add more of a back bend. It does get very challenging not to fall over. So focusing on balance, focusing on that center line, squeezing everything in towards the center line, dropping your shoulders down your back. Don't overlift your chin there. And hands come back. And you can just give yourself a little bit more hip opening there if you want to. We'll take that lunge one more time on this side, and then we'll take it on the other side. So hold your silks, hop that foot back. My foot's like in a big wad of silks behind me, but that's probably good to challenge my balance even more. Again, hugging everything into the midline. Whew. And maybe you keep your arms, I'm going to keep my arms out to the side this time. Trying to elongate through the front of my body. Shoulders are dropping back. Hips are pressing forward. One more breath. And release it. Okay, I'm going to take that leg out. I'm just going to do like a little yoga style forward fold here with no silks, just to reset. Before I do my other side, folding down, hands to the floor, head is dropped, softening the knees, dropping the tailbone to bring you up. Okay, we've got 2 lunges on the left. I need to make this knot a little bit higher, so if you need to adjust, now's your time, or grab some water. Hopefully that works. We'll see. It looks really high, but again, when I put my weight in it, yeah, I think if it sinks down a little with my full weight in it, that'll be good. So again, about hip height. This one's a little too high now, but we'll see. I think it'll get lower as I do it. I'm going to hop my right foot back, and it's a little awkward to balance, but I'm doing it. Again, checking the alignment, trying to have even hips, reaching the arms up, lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders, taking a couple breaths there. And coming out of it. And giving that leg a little wiggle if you'd like. And then we'll do one more lunge. So there you go. Maybe you can see a little better what it looks like. Now my bicycle tires in the video. Oh boy. Anyways, reaching up. Pressing the hips forward. Maybe adding a little bit of a back bend if you can. And releasing. Let me adjust this just a little bit so that there's a little more clear view here. I do have my bike in my apartment right now, so I've been riding it quite a bit this quarantine. Okay, so that was all I had in the knot right now, but there's lots more. So I'm going to rearrange these a little bit, and I'm going to do some arrow work, which is probably also familiar to anyone who would be watching this. Same rep. I'm going to use 3 reps. Yeah, I'll use 3. So again, these silks are a little bit slick. So 3 wrist wraps, making sure your hands are even, pulling down. So you're going to start with a tuck, and then legs go straight up. I have just enough room to do it in here. And then you can hold this. This is a basic arrow. And then let's tuck, and then let's come down. And then we'll work through our side arrows. We'll do it twice on each side. So same wrist wraps. We're going to go up and side arrow. So split your legs and drop them. So you're in this back bend shape over one arm, and then you're going to lift up, pull down the silks, and pike forward. So your legs come over your front arm. And then back up, tuck, and come down. We got to do that one more time because we've got to do the other side. So I took my right leg forward that time in my split. If you take your left leg forward, your back arrow will be on, and your front arrow will be on the opposite side of what we just did. Okay, catch your breath. And here we go. So I'm going to go up. Left leg forward this time. And I'm doing my back arrow over that left arm, pulling down on both arms, trying to lift my pelvis to pass through vertical and piking there. And coming, I kind of cheated my exit a little bit. You can go straight back up, passing through vertical arrow and come down. These silks also, these medium stretch silks they get real tight on my hands. Okay. So next thing I want to do are walkovers. Similar to arrows, but I'm going to face this way. I do have a panel mat down here under my rig. Always have a mat, even though I'm working very low and conditioning moves. It's just good practice. All right. So, I'm going to do 2 wrist wraps. I'm wrapping higher because I know these silks stretch, which makes the walkovers a little awkward, but I did this to myself on purpose. I know these medium stretch silks are hard to work with, and I wanted to make it more challenging for myself since I'm not in the studio. So hopefully if I get back on low stretch silks, they'll feel nice and easy after all this. Anyways, all right, so I'm here. I'm going to start my walkover from here. Make sure you got a really good grip. You're going to hop up, tuck, and over. And you lose one wrist wrap when you do that. So I'm going to reset my wrists. And you have to make sure that you get the right height where you can bring your arms behind your back, comfortably, but you don't want to be too low. You'll land really hard. I'm going to bend my knees, tuck a little bit, and take a little hop to get me up and over. I'm going to do that 2 more times. And you can, it's a little bit hard for me to do in my setup, but you can pause in the middle and find like a split or a balance in the middle of your walkover. I'm just going to go for it. So again, hands come around. I'm looking at my belly, bending my knees, and a little pop up and around. 1 more. Wrist wraps. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can do the pause this time. No promises. I may not get it. Yeah, so you can work on a little split inversion like that in the middle of your walkover. That's a fun thing to do. Okay, so I'm going to give my wrists a break for a minute. They're tired after all. You can do a little bit of a wrist circle to let that go. I'm going to work on some splits. So just, we did do our lunges. We didn't do a lot of hamstring stretching. Let's take 1 more forward fold actually before we do this. And just think about really lengthening your hamstrings. You're letting your head hang heavy. Catching your breath. Shifting the weight into your toes. Bending your knees just a little and rolling it up. And, okay. So double foot locks, however you get into your double foot locks, accounting for whatever you've got to work with here. Like, I like to stay kind of low, so I've got more space between the poles, but I don't want to be on the ground either. So it's a good opportunity to practice nice, clean double foot locks. And mine are not even, and that's okay. I'm going to start with a lunge in the silks. Opening up that back leg a little bit, finding my center, and then I'm holding the front tilt with both hands right now. I'm going to extend into my split, holding for a few breaths, and bringing it back in. I'm going to do that on the other side. So starting with a lunge, again finding my center. This is a little different because this foot's lower. Extending, finding my split. I can see myself in the camera trying to straighten that back knee. And bringing it back up. I'm going to get out of these foot locks that are uneven. And I'm going to try to do that again. I don't know if it's possible for me in this tiny rig to do a split roll-up. I like split roll-up because it gives you an opportunity to work on split balances. If your split balances aren't quite there yet, those extra wraps can help you train them. But I don't know. I'm gonna try it. You know what? Why not try it? So, okay, I'm in a little bit lower foot locks this time. I'm going to put on a couple wraps. Okay, so normally I would wrap the front foot and the back foot, but I'm realizing I can't do that. So you know what? I'm just working my split roll up because there's just not space to wrap my back foot. But good to know you can do a split roll up on your tiny rig, most likely. And then let's just work another split. I'm going to take hands to the back silk this time. That adds a little bit of a back bend into your split. Holding it for a few breaths. Keep holding it. 2 more breaths. And let's come out. And I'm practically on the floor. I'm just going to give my feet a little break. I'm going to do those arm circles again. And then we'll do our other split. So holding hands like this. And circle. And circle it again. And one more time. And bring it back. And coming up. Okay. So splits on the other side. This is number 11 on our 14 item list. There's one foot lock. There's another very awkward foot lock. So because we did split roll up, we'll just do that. Up and through, and up and through. I did 2. And just holding it for a minute. It's a good stretch in the back leg in particular, as I'm banging into my rig here. And I'm going to come out of it. Careful not to lose your foot lock. This can happen in this one. And now we're working our left split. Again, grabbing the back silk if you can. And sinking into it, trying to straighten that back leg. And breathe. Few more breaths. And coming out. Coming out. Okay. So now we can work. Now it's getting progressively harder. The last 3 things are a little bit more intermediate. So I'm going to do some inversions from the floor. If you've never done this before, don't do it from a video, please. But if you have and you're just, an aerialist stuck in your house and you're fortunate enough to have a rig, here we go. So I'm going to do basic straddle inversions. I'm going to do a straight arm inversion. So I'm reaching all the way up, and I actually set up on the left first for whatever reason. I'm reaching all the way up. I'm going to just pull myself into a straddle, trying not to jump very much. I have to do a bent knee one because I will kick my rig if I don't. But if you can do a straight leg one, do it. Holding it and coming down with as much control as you can. We're going to do that twice on each side. Next on the right. So, yes, I did just wipe my sweat mustache. Nobody uses his silks except me, so. Alright, so here we go. Pulling down a little bit, feel your weight, lift up into your arms, into your core, and go. Whoa. And come down with control. Alright. One more time on each side. Left side. Holding your silks. You can also do a bent arm inversion if that's more appropriate for you. I get to work with straight arms. So again, pulling down, going up, and down. The grip is really hard on these silks. Last time. It's good grip training. Here we go. Let's go up. Find your inversion, hold it, and bring it down with control. All right. So building from there, we're going to work a little bit of back balance. There are infinite things you can work on if you have enough space just to do a simple inversion like what I just did. You could work on all your hooks and your wraps. I just chose back balance because it's something I need to work on. So this might not be pretty, but here it is. I'm going to invert and do a right catcher's hook to set up my back balance. So I'm up and I hook I like it pretty low on my back. Drop this leg. Oh my goodness, okay. I'm going to do that once on the left. I really should do it twice on both sides. We'll see how I feel. The left is probably rough. I don't do it very often. So, bonus, we at least get to invert a little more, right? Keeping that bottom arm really strong and trying to roll your body back towards the pole of the silks. And I'm losing it. All right, let's do it one more time. If you're doing this with me, we're going to do one more back balance on each side. All right, get ready, right side. Hold your silks, find your inversion, however you're getting there right now. Hopefully better than mine. Set it low on your back, really strong with that supporting arm, and then keeping your body moving towards the pole as you unhook. Straightening your legs is optional. Ideally, you would release this hand and just hold with the bottom hand, but I don't, my grip is not strong enough to do that on these silks. Okay. It's still work. It all counts. So here we go. Last of the back balances. One more time on the left. Going up. Hooking. Setting that on your low back. Rotating your hips back towards the pole. Bottom arm is pushing down as you release. And come out of it. Okay. Grab some water. I need to grab some water. I will be right back, and we'll do our skin the cats, and then I have a bonus move for you. Okay, so we've already done several things that are similar to skin the cats with this wrist wrappy grip. These are one of the best conditioning things that you can do, so I wanted to include them. Don't do them on a pull-up bar. Pull-up bars are not made for inverting, but if you have something that is made for inverting, do them whenever you want. So, and sometimes when you don't want to. All right. So, I'm going to start, how do I do a skin the cat? I start an arrow, that's right. So we're going back to arrow. From here, pike down, and you want to let your hips come through your arms. I'm going to bend my knees. One, that makes it a little easier. And two, I think if I don't, I just will end up on the floor. Right now I'm slipping a little and, you know, it's kind of an odd setup. So straight legs is harder. If you can do straight legs, great. If not, bent knees is just fine. Let's do 3 more skin the cats. So again, starting an arrow, and we go up. Nice strong arrow, folding into a pike. Tucking if you choose to tuck, trying to get your hips through your arms, and then bring it back, and coming up. And if your hips don't go through your arms, that's okay. Hips even in line with your arms, wherever you can work to build that strength gradually, it all counts. All right, 2 more. Here we go, up to arrow, and pike. And rotate as far as you can, and bring it back. And come up. Oh, I'm getting tired. All right, last skin the cat. It's a terrible name. The cat's not there. She left, probably because we're doing skin the cats. I don't blame her. All right, let's get it done. Pike, tuck, rotate through, and back, and up, and rest. Unwrap, shake out your wrists. Again, I'm going to do a little side stretch this time. It's getting nice and long through everywhere that was just compressing. And other side. And a little back bend, so I'm reaching back. I'm not popping my ribs, but I'm trying to gently arch my upper back, pressing my hips forward, reaching through the fingertips, and release. Just some stretches. All right, so climbing this is kind of, I can get like one climb, and then I can reach the top of my rig, which actually isn't a bad place to be. Hanging off the top of this, I can use it as a pull-up bar. And also, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to climb up there, and then from hanging on the top, that gives me just a little bit more height and actually a much more stable grip, like this, on the top bar of the rig, to be able to work on some of my wraps on my legs. So you can work on double wraps. This is the bonus round. You can work on double wraps. That way I would recommend kind of separating your silks a little bit if you're going to do that. I've been working on making that tuck Russian, from Russian climb tuck, making a knot with my feet. So that same knot that we were just using, but you can tie it with your feet. That's from heel hang, credit where credit is due. She taught us that in a workshop. So I've actually been able to tie that with my feet while hanging from the top of my bar. So I'll just show you a couple things that I have been experimenting with while hanging from the top. So climb, sort of, a little baby climb. And then I can get my hands right on the top here. You've got to kind of kick the silks apart. But then if you're working on your double wraps, you can work on that action from there. If I drop into these, because these silks are stretchy, I'm going to end up on the floor. So I'm not going to drop into them. But it's kind of fun just to practice wrapping them like that. And if that's something you need to practice, oh, hey, and I've got like an inch off the floor. If that's something you need to practice, you can certainly do some of that. You could even do one leg at a time. There's all kinds of pull-up exercises you could do up there. But I kind of like it as an opportunity to work on leg wraps. Let me show you one more, and then I think that'll be enough. So I'm going to do baby climb again to get up there. And I'm going to climb. I climbed one climb on my right last time, so one climb on my left, just so I can reach the top. And then hopefully this works. I've got big fat socks on too, but I usually train in big fat socks. So you're going to do your Russian climb as high as you can. Tuck over it. Make your little loop. Pop it through. There you go. Now you've got a knot. It ends up being a low knot, lower than I would use for my inversions, but it is perfect for doing some jackknives. I'm actually going to get into it this way. We didn't do those earlier in our workout, but they're always good. So again, because I have stretchy silks, this knot looks really high, but once I put my body weight in it, it's not going to be too high. I don't think. I don't know. So I'm in like a three-legged table pose. I'm going to put my other foot in there, It's a little high, but not too bad. But these are, you can do these jackknife conditionings where you go up. It's probably good handstand training. I've just used it as silks conditioning, but this kind of feels like a tuck handstand a little bit here. And out. And then you can take it side to side, like this. And then you can come out. One other nice thing with a knot this height is you can do some cat and cow. So I just wrapped my wrists through the knot, and I'm going to do a cat and cow with my arms supported here. And just release. You get a little bit more shoulder release here. So this is more aerial yoga. Trying, again, not to let your ribs splay, but get that nice big spreading across your upper back. And then rounding it. And then again. There you go. And one more. Nice big inhales and exhales. And release. All right. Well, there's a home rig workout that you can do. Thanks for joining me in my humble abode, and I'll see you in the internet or maybe in real life, hopefully sooner rather than later.